You're listening to Women Who Badass Radio, where we interview high-achieving women to find out how they achieve their stellar results.
Welcome to Women Who Badass Radio. I'm your host for this season, Chelly Canales. We have an incredible guest here today, Michelle Moore. She's definitely a woman who badasses, I would like to say. We're going to get to know a little bit more about her today. So she is a businesswoman. She comes from a sales and marketing background, and now she is launching a crowdfunding campaign for this great idea she had. It's an app called ElleRate. This app is meant to help women discover, review, share, and support products, services, and workplaces that reflect their values. I absolutely love that idea. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you. We are excited to hear about your journey. It's rare to kind of hear about someone's journey as we go, and you're right in the thick of it.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about how you got to this place.
Okay, well, even from the beginning of my career, I was drawn to working in arenas where I could have a social impact. I grew up in the California Bay Area.
Beautiful.
And there were so many wonderful ideas out there, so many opportunities. I started out after college working at a television station and doing some television production for a news station in the area, doing the Jerry Lewis Telethon, live producing. So it was very exciting and rewarding. And from there I met some people who worked for the Leukemia Society, so I went and did some planning with them, loved that, and then some fundraising for the hospital I was actually born at in San Jose, California.
What an amazing thing to do.
It was so great.
Circle.
I loved it. But unfortunately, like so many I know will relate to, I couldn't really afford to work those jobs in such an expensive area. So my husband and I got married and decided to move out to the Denver area, and weren't entirely sure what we were going to do. We were living on love, and that's about it. And I decided to go back to graduate school and at CU Boulder and got my master's in marketing communications, and was very drawn then again to more of the social impact courses I was taking about why people, or how women especially, will tend to choose products and services from companies that give back and do good for the world, and especially for other women and girls. And I was very drawn to that, but again, we were starving newlyweds, and my mind was on time to contribute financially. So I went into the corporate sector and really loved everything that I learned there, the people that I met, the confidence that I gained, the skills, but felt something was missing. Well, as sometimes happens, the universe makes decisions for you.
Absolutely.
And there was the dot-com bubble burst when I was doing marketing for a small tech company, and I was pregnant with my second child at the time. So I decided to venture out into the unknown world of network marketing of all things.
Yes.
No one was more surprised than me. And I thought to myself, I'll do this until I figure out what I'm really going to do when the dust settles after my daughter's born. I got started really to have some social time with women, to get out of the house a little bit and to earn a little extra money, to buy gas and groceries that I didn't have to ask my husband for, because at that point I had made my own income and it was rough to go back to feeling like I had to ask for money.
Absolutely.
So I started having a great time out there, just really playing and engaging and interacting with women of all backgrounds, and had so much fun. It really started to take off, and I thought, well, if I can pay the bills doing this and be home raising my children at the same time, I'm going to ride that, and I'm going to do that as long as I can.
Yes.
It was such a wonderful experience. What ended up happening is, because I was so enjoying it, I think that women picked up on that, and they started wondering what this was all about. And I started building a sales organization, sponsoring people and starting to mentor women who they themselves wanted to create successful businesses. So I had both sides of that equation going, where I was both selling directly to women and I was helping mentor women in business on the other hand. So I thought that was such a unique opportunity to be on both sides, the seller and the being the seller myself, and then also helping people be successful in business. So I got to see both sides of what a business needs to be successful and what women consumers need to feel valued for their business.
That makes you so uniquely positioned to create your app. So as you were going through all of this, clearly you identified a gap in,
yes,
there's something in the market that I can bring that is not there. Tell me a little bit more about that.
That's right. I felt that I had something to offer to businesses that have been trying to chase after this pink dollar. We're hearing it called more and more. And I felt that because of my 14 years selling directly to exclusively women, being in their homes, really being in their lives, many of them became my friends, I got to hear a really unique, from a unique standpoint, what mattered to them, what was important to them, what made them feel appreciated, and so forth. And I thought if I could help businesses understand that on a deeper level, how to engage with women, to earn more of their favor, to earn more of their trust, their advocacy, and their business, then everyone wins, because women in that situation, they're going to get more of what they want and need to make their lives work more smoothly, to be taken more seriously, to be incorporated into the innovation process.
There's nothing more, I think, important to hear when a woman, a friend, someone close to you can advocate for a certain company, or you see the work that they're doing for their own company, and truly it's easier to, I think, part with $1 or more that way.
Yes.
So this is a really valuable service that you're providing. Thank you for creating that.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what it'll do to boost businesses and women in the process.
It's a win-win right here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am. It's for my pink dollar. It's going straight to you. So I want to talk a little bit more about that. So what women want in exchange for their business.
Yes.
What are, I guess, the top values that you see, maybe the top 3 values that resonate with women around you?
I'm going to probably need to give you 6.
Let's do 6 top values.
And this is not necessarily in order of importance, but these are really the 6 big trends that I saw when I was working so closely with so many female consumers. The first is to be listened to.
Yes. Oh, yes. I can resonate with that right away.
Absolutely, right? And not just listen to passively, but listen to, I hear you. That might look and sound like I can repeat back to you what you just said. And I can also tell you that's very important to the success of my business to know, thank you, and this is what we're going to do about it. That's really being listened to.
The action follow-up, the actual
Absolutely.
taking in of the information and doing something with it.
Absolutely. Secondly, women love getting recommendations from other women. And that's why review sites have been so successful. So many women are active on these sites because, one, they need to have a voice. They need to be able to express themselves and their needs. And they also need to see that women and other people who live the types of lives they live would recommend certain products or services for certain situations. And that speaks really loudly to us. We're going to definitely listen to our girlfriends and other women before we're going to listen to a company telling us why we should buy their product, right? Third is women like to feel educated. And the more expensive the product or service, the more research women tend to do, of course. But we do still like to know that we're spending our money on something of value. So even if it's, say, mascara, if a company can say to a woman, well, not only does this mascara make your lashes look long and your eyes pop, but did you know you can actually cover up your little gray spots with it as well? And if you keep it in the refrigerator, and I don't know this, I'm making this up. So
I want this product, so just keep going.
if you keep it in your refrigerator, it'll last twice as long. So you're really getting more for your dollar. You're getting more uses for your money. So the value equation. Another one is that you're bettering the world with your purchase. That the company that you're buying from gives back. whether they partner with a nonprofit that you really believe in, or they're just known for being sustainable, they're responsible, they have wonderful policies internally for their female employees, and so on. We want to know that where we're spending our money is making a positive difference in the world. Not least, and not last actually, is service.
Yes.
I suspect that one thing we're going to see pretty clearly once ElleRate is up and running is this call back to feeling seen and heard and appreciated and respected.
This is so important. I feel like it's something that has been lacking for a little while, and that women are so, I don't want to say thirsty for, that sounds so trendy, but really are hoping to have that value placed on them and what their opinions are. So thank you for bringing that to the table.
Absolutely, and this might be the perfect time to mention to those who might not know it that women account for 83% of all consumer spending, all consumer purchases.
Did you hear that?
Yes,
83%.
So my question to you is, what happens when you have 83% ownership in something? That makes you the
majority stockholder, or whatever, however you'd like to.
We might want to call it boss.
We'll take the boss. I like boss.
And so then what happens when you're the boss? Typically that means you get to make the
decisions. You get to make the calls, you get to be in charge, you get to lead.
Get to make the rules.
Yes.
Right? So I think this is something that I'm excited about women really absorbing, understanding, and owning on a larger level, is really how powerful we are in this sector to forge the changes we want to see for ourselves and for the world.
Well, thank you for leading the charge on that.
I'm excited to do it. And I do have one last one, and it is social connection. So it is more difficult, as things tend to move more online here, to try to replicate a social connection between women online. But anytime, anywhere, if you're a company that does things in real life, events or whatnot, it's a great opportunity to really connect women to one another. And that means a lot to us in terms of the experience, the enriched experience that we have when we go to purchase something.
It's the personal connection as well as having the great information on where to shop, where to go. It's the total picture.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you about the name ElleRate.
Yes. ElleRate came from Elle, being a female pronoun in French for she or her. And rate is simply, we're going to be rating things. We're going to be reviewing things. We're going to be reviewing products. We're going to be reviewing services. We're going to anonymously be reviewing our workplaces. And so those two came together. ElleRate, I also love that it's sort of rhymes with elevate and accelerate. So those are power words for us, and those are the things that we're seeking.
Very powerful. And I just wanted to go back to that little nugget about we can review our workplaces anonymously. Tell me about that.
Yes. So we are going to have some levels of transparency. There's going to be an overall ElleRate score.
This name is resonating.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you. There's going to be an overall score and 4 sub-scores. The reviews of products and services is only going to be the first sub-score. The second sub-score is women themselves reviewing that workplace, that company, so that we have that level of transparency and credibility. The third level is going to be the company itself is going to be able to score itself along the lines of several measures that we'd like to know a little bit more about in terms of their policies for elevating women in their workplaces, and also hearing their female consumers' voices and incorporating that into their innovations.
And does corporate social responsibility go into that right as well?
That is definitely in there in the mix. And lastly, nonprofit partners can get in there and give bonus points to those companies that have done an excellent job partnering with them in advancing their missions.
That's very smart. What a great idea.
Thank you.
I want to think a little bit more about creating the tech side of this. So you've created an app and you're doing crowdfunding.
Yes.
So what is the first thing you do when you have a marvelous idea like this? Where do you begin?
For me, I'm extremely visual, and when I'm learning something new or wrapping my head around a new concept, I'm also extremely literal. So I mapped it out visually and had a wonderful graphic artist help me create a prototype that I could really get around in and experience, kind of walk away from for a while, come back to, see how it hit me, test it out with some friends and family and so forth, get some great feedback from people way smarter than I am. Whew, thank goodness for them. And I just needed to live with it for a while. I needed to really test it against whether I thought women would really like it, enjoy it, have fun with it, use it. That is paramount, because all of this is going to hinge on women showing up.
And how long did it take you to sit there and just absorb and deliberate?
Strangely, the prototype process happened pretty fast. I sat down on February 1st of last year, full-time. Made a whole bunch of changes to 2018. Made a whole bunch of changes to my life. Got very, very comfortable with the difference between wants and needs. Pulled way, way back and decided I am willing to live only with my needs if I get to do this work. It's completely worth it.
I am in a similar situation.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
definitely understand that.
I know so many women who could relate to that. And so the prototype was actually out after about the first week in June. So February, March, June, is that about 4 months? 5 months.
5 months.
And so that was pretty quick. When I started getting into more of the mechanics of it is when things got a little slower.
So you had to find somebody who knew how to do all the tech. So you created what the map looks like, handed that over and said, now create an app for me.
Yes, and actually kind of went down a couple of side roads and felt I'm extremely instinctive, so I had to kind of be in a couple of different scenarios in terms of which direction I wanted to take this before really being able to feel whether it was the right road to go on.
I love that you said feel. I'm such a proponent, or I'm such an advocate for intuition and making sure that that is a part of our business lives as well.
Yes.
And how, I want to hear how that's guided you.
Energy.
Yeah.
I got myself pretty deep into one road that I didn't feel 100% great about. I was pushing it, I was forcing it. I got to almost go time and I said, no, not doing it. And that cost me some time, and it cost me some money.
Time and money, and having the wisdom to know that it's still okay to pull away from that is a pretty brilliant thing, because I think it continues to bring you more on that path that you're meant to be on.
Yes. I will say it was shaky for a little while, because you start to question, can I get myself right again? And thankfully the holidays came around, and I unplugged pretty well and came back with a renewed perspective. And I just think if anyone needs to hear that sometimes you absolutely need to take the time off, not because it's selfish, but because it's really the best thing you could do for your business and for your creativity and for your problem-solving abilities. It's a must. So I demand that you take vacations.
I am with you on that. It reminds me of a quote from one of my favorite motivational speakers, Lisa Nichols. She says, you don't serve people from your cup, you serve them from your saucer. Ooh, and I've really taken that to heart, because it's so easy to sacrifice and give and give and give to the project, to the thing. How are you going to keep going? It's just not sustainable.
Absolutely.
So self-care.
The most responsible thing you can do, especially as a solopreneur, is keep yourself energized, keep yourself full. Rest, exercise, eat right, see friends. In my case, drink some wine once in a while. Do what you feel and know that you need to sleep. Oh my goodness, how did I not mention sleep?
Sleep is everything.
It is. It's my favorite. That you really honor that. And if it takes a little bit longer, it's okay, because when you get there, you're going to be that much better.
It's so great to hear you say that. Thank you for sharing that with this audience. I think that's something we all need to be reminded of.
Oh, I'm happy to do that.
So I think a lot about what the world will miss out on if you don't do that thing that's in your heart, that intuition is calling you to do, that product that you know you have to make. What is the world missing if ElleRate does not come to be the way you imagine it?
Well, as you said earlier, I think the world will miss out on a unique perspective on how we can resolve this broken equation. It just doesn't make sense that women contribute 83% of all consumer dollars. We're talking $12 trillion a year, roughly, in the United States alone. That makes a serious impact on our economy. And yet we have very few women in decision-making roles at these companies. We have very few women employees that are being asked into, and they shouldn't have to wait to be asked, who are being incorporated into the innovation process.
Absolutely.
So it's true that that many companies aren't only making products for women, but also true is that regardless, it's typically the women who are buying it. A lot of times the women are buying the clothing for their children, their sons, or their husbands. Typically the women are the ones who give the thumbs up on the car that they're going to buy for the family. Or the
spacesuit that doesn't exist because there's not one small enough for the first female astronaut.
Exactly. So there's a mindset issue that we need to address. And so if ElleRate never existed, I believe that we would continue as women to continue to shout into the wind.
Yes.
And there are little pieces and parts on this platform or on that Facebook group or here or there in this small room or in that small workshop where women are voicing what it is they need, but there's not really a concentrated place where we can really put a megaphone on it and have it loud and clear what it is we're looking for, what products and services help smooth our path so that we can in turn smooth the paths of others, and women tend to do that.
I just got chills when you said megaphone. I was just imagining a megaphone of women's voices and how it's time.
Right.
It's more than time.
It's very much time. And on the other side of that coin, businesses would miss out on a real opportunity to more directly engage, far less expensively, far less time-consumingly, with their prized VIP customers, women. And there's going to be an opportunity for businesses who love us to get in there and get up to speed and get that pink dollar.
Great for businesses, great for women.
Absolutely.
So what is the number one thing that you wish most for women in the next 5 years?
I would say continue to question the status quo. If you find that business as usual is not serving you, then let's explain to businesses what will serve us. Let's help them help us.
I think that is phenomenal. Finding the voice, being able to know that your voice is being received, all of that is going to make a huge difference.
Keep our antennas up. That's what I want for women in the next 5 years.
Up, everybody.
And absolutely know on this equation that it's going to take another 150 to 200 years for us to get equal pay for equal work. It's just a hard no. So ElleRate can really help accelerate this process of justice and equality and just common sense so that everybody can win.
This is incredible, and I feel completely grateful that you created something like this that's going to make such a difference. So how can the women of Denver community, how can the public at large support you in this journey?
Thank you so much. It's just going to take all of us to show up. Right now, my site is not ready to go public. It will be, the public launch will be August 1st.
Great.
But there is a landing page where you can sign up your name and your email address to get updates on the upcoming crowdfunding campaign. And I do want to throw a shout out to I Fund Women. That's who we're going to be using. They are phenomenal at supporting female-founded companies. It's just a very consistent message with ElleRate, so we definitely wanted to utilize that.
I'm going to look that
platform. ifundwomen.com, and I'm going to be seeking additional funds for outreach. Because of being a solopreneur, I am not able to both develop what I'm doing here and be on the traditional venture capital trail, especially because that model is not constructed to be friendly to women. And especially solopreneur women. I can't be in multiple places at the same time. And if I'm going to go chase VC money for a 2% possibility that I might get funded, that just doesn't make good business sense.
It doesn't. And that's another thing that I hope that we can change over time as well, because there are so many more females stepping into these roles.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I Fund Women is a big part of changing this dynamic and leveling the playing field, so I'm very excited to partner with them on the campaign.
So you gave us their address. How do we get a hold of your landing page, or can someone email you? What's the best way?
Yes, best way right now is go to the landing page, ellerate.net, ELLERATE. ElleRate.net. It's going to stay .net because it's a network. It really is going to be a network of female consumers, the businesses who love us, and also women elevating nonprofits that are going to play into this whole ecosystem of what it is we women want in the whole value equation of where we spend our money.
So you've been working on ElleRate by yourself for a good while now. It's been your labor of love. You've shown up every day, but now you're expanding into a team.
Yes.
So what does it take to create a great fit for your team?
Well, for me, I'm sure it's a little different for everybody. But for me, responsiveness is so big.
Yes.
I really need to feel like I'm not alone in this. And so if I ask a question out there, I don't mean right away. I don't mean within 5 minutes, but within 24 hours. So that plays really large into who I'm going to continue to work with. If they have a little time for me, if they get back to me with my needs met, then I'm happy. And we can keep moving. Of course, skills and affordability are really important to a startup. And one thing that's very important that I don't think I realized as much in the beginning and that I do now appreciate is the ability for those that I bring on to be able to consult with me, not just the order takers.
Yes.
Because I am not 100% up to speed on every single aspect that I will need in this business to be successful.
So people come to the table knowing some of these things that you might just need a little bit of guidance.
Absolutely. And if I'm going off the rails a little bit, you need to be able to tell me that and have the confidence to say, you might want to try this instead, or I've used this in the past and this has been able to meet that same goal without the expense or without the time and so forth. That's so important. And then just being surrounded by people who are just generous with their recommendations and with their referrals, like I have found to be so true with the Women of Denver. It's just been a wonderful gift to help bring me from the innovation cave out into bringing ElleRate to the world. Women of Denver has been incredibly key.
It's such a fantastic organization. I like to brag on it a little bit myself.
Please do. I'm a big fan.
I'm curious, so big picture-wise, so you have your team, you're starting to grow it.
Yes.
If ElleRate was everything you wanted it to be, how many people would be on your team? Would you have international headquarters, or would it just be you and have maybe virtual assistants everywhere? What does it look like in your perfect world?
It would definitely be global.
Yes.
Right now I'm focused mostly on the U.S., and I am crowdfunding in order to get more help with outreach. So outreach means social media, it means community management, it means getting connected with more influencers, with media, and so on and so forth. And that is really what this current campaign will be about. The campaign will be launched on May 13th, by the way.
May 13th, everybody. So please make sure to mark your calendars.
Please do get on my email list. I will not harass you, I promise. Only fun stuff. And that's going to be the first step. I would have more, I'm going to bring on more data people because I have a feeling that a lot of not only companies but industry associations are going to really want to understand more about what women are saying that they want and need across so many industries: automobile, home goods, health and fitness, you name it. We're out there buying lots and lots. And so we need to get up to speed on being able to provide that kind of data. And marketing and sales. And that team initially, I would say if I could get some power hitters right off the bat, would probably be about 8. And I think we can go really, really far on that 8 and then just take it as it comes and see what the next step should be.
Well, you're calling it out by vocalizing it, saying it,
yes,
defining that dream. The chance of it happening is so much better, right?
If you don't mind, I'm going to make one addition to that wish list.
As much as you want.
And it will be content moderators.
Okay.
This is a differentiator that I've just assumed so much in my own head now that I forget sometimes to express it, and it's extremely important. We want ElleRate to do right by women, for sure. But we also want it to do right by the companies that love us and that support us and partner with us. And in return for that support, we are going to do our very, very best to moderate content and to make the expectations known up front that when women review, they need to do so constructively and provide some solutions that are actionable on the part of the businesses to be able to rectify and get right with us. So content moderators are going to play a huge role in the success of ElleRate and our mission.
Thought of everything.
Well, you just let me know if you've learned anything I haven't.
Because I will leave a review on ElleRate about ElleRate.
That's right. Show up not only at the campaign, not only by receiving our emails, but by interacting, by reviewing, and by commenting and sharing.
That's a wonderful plan, and I can see many of us participating in that to help each other out.
I sure hope so.
Well, I want to thank you, Michelle, for being a woman who badasses.
Thank you.
Completely,
for
top to bottom.
opportunity.
Everything about what you bring to the table is helpful, and it's going to push, I think, our society forward in many ways and give us all a chance to be able to make our voices heard and to connect with one another the way that you mentioned. I think it's going to happen in a really beautiful way. We're very grateful for you.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity to get the word out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This episode was sponsored by ElleRate, the platform that helps women review, share, and support products, services, and workplaces that reflect their values. Join the community by visiting ElleRate.net.